let's talk about. Let's talk about is an online chat show from Trinity United Church, Legon, via Facebook and YouTube. Today we're talking about the upcoming district assembly elections. That's the reason why we have, I call her Auntie Nadu, but she is Gladys Nadu Tete. And then there is Isaac Owusu. Now they'll tell us where exactly they are coming from. So I think I'll allow Auntie Nadu to tell us.
We are coming from the Center for Local Governance Advocacy, an NGO, a non-profit organization that is based within Adenta Municipal Assembly.
Okay, so now we have an idea where they are coming from. But Auntie Nadu, later on, Isaac, you will come in. When we talk about the local government system of which the district assembly is part, if you can give us a picture of generally how it looks like.
Okay, generally with the...
I think if we have you
have the structure.
Yes, we can show it so that our viewers have a look.
Okay, generally the structure is such that we have the regional coordinating council at the apex at the top, and then beneath it we have we have three sets of assembly types of district assemblies. The bigger ones with population of over 250,000 are the metropolitan assemblies. So we call them metropolitan assemblies. It's the sizes that differentiates them. And if you are more than 95,000, you are a municipal assembly. So AMA is a metropolitan assembly.
That's Accra Metropolitan
Yes,
Assembly.
Accra Metropolitan. It's because of the population, the size. And then Adenta Municipal Assembly is a municipal assembly because of the size, 95,000 and above. And then those below 65,000 are the district assemblies. So we have three types of assemblies and the population that differentiates them. And so that's beneath the RCCs, that's the Regional Coordinating Council, with the regional minister at the top, who is the head at the top. Then we have the three sets of assemblies. So under the we have the metropolitan assemblies, we have the municipal assemblies, and then we have district assemblies. So for instance, just like I said, AMA is a metro, Tema is a metro. We have Tamale, now a metro. Kumasi is a metro. We have 6 of them. Then we have municipal assemblies based on their sizes. Adenta is 1, Ga East is 1. Most districts in AMA, most of them in Accra, majority of them are municipal assemblies because of the population size. And then we also have the district assemblies. Most of them are rural areas. Most of them are rural areas. Then below the metros, we have the sub-metros. So if you go to AMA, we have the sub-metro councils. They are below the metros, the bigger assemblies. And below the sub-metros, we have the town councils. Before the bottom is the unit committees. When you come to the municipal assemblies, we have the zonal council. They have zonal council. So Adenta has a zonal council. And below it, we have the unit committee. So unit committee cuts across all the district assemblies. And then the districts, they have the UTA, we call them UTA, the urban town and area councils. And then below, we have the unit committees. So this is how the structure is. We have the regional minister. And the RCC is headed by the regional minister.
That's the regional
Yes, that's a political
committee.
appointment. Yes, so the regional minister is the head at the top, and then when you come to the assemblies, we have the metropolitan municipal district chief executives. Because of the sizes, we differentiate them. So if you are a mayor, they call themselves mayor, but they are district chief executives. So if you are a district chief executive for Tema, we call you MCE, and then the same applies to the municipals. If you are a district chief executive for a municipal, we call you MC. If you are for the district, they call you DC. It's because of the sizes. That's what we use in differentiating them. And so how do we get this DCs, when it comes to the assembly level, how do we get them elected? And how do we get our DCs appointed? DCs are usually political heads, just like the regional minister. They are appointed by the president. So the president will appoint you. Then you go to the assembly for approval. So that's where we have the assembly members going to vote. You need 2 tests of members at the assembly, members present and voting. When you get 2 tests of members, then you are appointed by the president. If you don't get the two tests, you get 50%, you have the option of going back. The president can re-nominate you and take you back to the assembly. If you get it, if you go and you get the two tests, then you are confirmed. So you see sometimes some assemblies rejecting their DCs. If you go and you don't get 50%, previously, if you don't get the 50%, then you will not come back again. But now, even if you don't get, the president can appoint you several until the assembly members go to vote for you. At each assembly, we have assembly members. We have two types of assembly members. We have the appointed assembly members, and we have elected assembly members. The elected assembly members are the 70%, they are majority. And they are the ones we are going to elect them during this district level elections. The 30% are appointed by the president. So we have 30%. And somebody will ask, why are you still appointing people? The rationale was to bring people with specialized skills into the assemblies. You might have a doctor who is very good, but the person doesn't want to go and contest elections for anybody to, talk to them anyhow. So when you can bring such people into the assembly through appointment to come and bring their expertise to bear on the assembly, you can have a lawyer who will be appointed and you take them. Now the system is changing. Previously, that was the concept. Bring professionals into the system. You can have assembly without any woman at all. The president could, appoint through the government appointee system, bring some women into the assembly system. So it was a way of filling the gap. You can have an assembly without any PWD. When I talk about PWD, they are persons living with disabilities. Their voices also have to be heard. So through the appointive system, you can bring some of them into the assembly. So that was the rationale for the 30% appointed. Now we are going to elect the 70% now, and the 70% are elected by you and I. And that's where we have the district level elections. And assembly elections are non-partisan. I go in as an individual.
That is to say, you don't go there as a member or representative of any political party.
No, we go there as an individual. So I go in as Gladys and contest. I've been an assembly member for 8 years. I've been a presiding member. I went in as an individual. And then people voted for me and I won 2 times and I decided not to go again. So at the assembly level, you go in as an individual. No party is supposed to represent you.
Auntie Nadu, sorry for the interruption, but is that the reason why there's some apathy towards the district assembly elections against the national elections, where people are representing, political parties?
Yes, that is for me. I think that is also one reason. In any system where we don't have competition, people are a little bit relaxed. At the national level, we have parties involved, so there's competition. Every party wants to win. At the local level, it's you and I. So people do not show much interest in it. And that's also another factor. People are also voting. People are not interested. With the voter apathy, people are also not interested in some of these things. But let me continue with where I ended. So, as assembly elections are supposed to be non-partisan, I go in and then if I win, I go to the assembly. As for, I know some of you ask about, we have people, when you see their posters, they look, yes. What the law says is that you are supposed to go in as an individual. No party can say, this is my candidate. You can't do that. You go in and win. Well, there are a few things we know. Things happen under the ground. Yes, that's one. They do okay. But what the law says is non-partisan. So you go in as an individual. You don't represent any party at the assembly elections. And this assembly election is not only for assembly members. We are also going to elect unit committees. When I talk about the structure, they are the base. And every unit.
So that's the basic local governance.
Exactly. They are the base. So they are supposed to be with you and I, the units. They are the grassroots. They are with the grassroots. And so they are supposed to serve as a link between you and I, those of us at the unit, and the assembly. So they are supposed to serve as a link. That's the unit committee.
Are they supposed to be campaigning now?
They should. Those who want to contest, they are now going to file. So they are now going to nomination. They are now filing and things. But they started campaigning. Yes, though assembly members campaign more than the unit committees. Yes. And so when every unit has 5. We have every electoral area has 5 units. And so it multiply, we have about 6,272 electoral areas. So multiply that times 5. That's 31,000 plus. So unit committees are quite huge. Yes, they are quite, the numbers are quite unwieldy. But we still need them to serve as a link between us and the assembly.
Are they paid?
No. Assembly members are also not paid, but they get some allowances. Yes, they get some remuneration. We call them remuneration, monthly allowances, depending on the resources of the assembly.
I see. So upcoming is the district assembly elections. Which date is it?
19th December. The EC says 19th December.
December. Okay. Although there are some noises being made here, and they won't talk about that. You know, it's coming on anyway.
Which one is that?
As for the noises, I've heard a few. They say it's unlawful. The exercise that's going to take place in terms of the election is unlawful.
Is it the election or the registration exercise?
The registration, I think.
The limited registration.
Yes, they say it's unlawful.
Okay, that one, it is EC, and those saying unlawful are the ones who can talk about this.
That's not in your domain.
No, if you get electoral commission person, the person can explain further on this issue. Yes.
Okay. All right. So now let's zoom in on the district assembly election and the preparation for it. What are we supposed to? How are we supposed to prepare ourselves?
Okay.
Isaac, we should come in when you think necessary. Yes.
Okay. As a citizen, as for your rights, you have a right to be voted for and to vote for. So you can put yourself up for the elections. You can decide to go and contest elections, but you also have the right to go and vote. You also have a right to also assess policy. The Constitution guarantees all these rights. So if you go to the Article 42, you can get all the rights as a citizen. You can put yourself up for elections. You can also have to.
So where do I go if I want to be voted for my district?
It depends on your district. Where is your district?
Ga East Municipal Assembly.
Okay, so Ga East.
That's Abokobi.
Abokobi. So what the Electoral Commission is saying now is that if you want to contest, you have to go to their site and download the forms. Previously, you go to their EC office and pick the forms. Now, I guess we are all trying to save some money. Go there yourself and download the forms, including that of the unit committees. You complete the forms. And then when you finish completing the forms, you go to your electoral area. You have EC officers in the electoral areas at the police stations. You have them at one police station in your electoral area.
So I have to find out where.
Yes, you need to find out, and then you go and submit your forms. Yes, you know, unlike the presidential, the parliamentary, where there is balloting during elections. District assembly elections, we don't do balloting. It is first come, first serve. So if you go and file first, you'll be number one. If you file second, you are number two.
You'll be number one on the
ballot, yes.
Ballot sheets.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you'll be number one. So you have the EC officer there. You complete all your forms, and then you go and file. But before you can contest, you should be above 18 years. You are above 18 years, and you should pay your taxes because they will demand your tax clearance certificates, and you should be of sound mind, and you shouldn't have any criminal record, and you should be an ordinary resident within the electoral area you want to contest. You might have been that electoral area for at least 1 year before you can contest. So if you qualify, then you complete the forms and then you submit it to the EC office, and then they will pick it up from there.
So Isaac, from there, where do you go?
After you have submitted your forms, it has to be endorsed by, as in like witnessed by some people to support that you really qualify for the position. So after that, EC will bring the
Electoral Commission.
Yes, with the notice of polls. So that is, they'll come and display your picture with your colors and everything for people to know that you are contesting in this particular electoral area or the unit committee area. And then when the time comes, as in the 19th of December, you campaign, people will go and vote for you if they want you to represent them.
Oh, okay. So the time is not yet up for campaigning. That's how come we don't see.
People are doing some background campaign. You can see some posters here and there. But I think when EC officially opens up for the nomination and the filing, I think maybe they'll open up also for the campaigning as well.
Okay. Until now, I'll come back to you again.
Okay.
About this apathy thing, you know, people aren't so much interested. You explained to us that because it's not on partisan level, it's not supposed by the law, it's not supposed to be on partisan level. That is to say, you don't have to be a member of any political party to go and stand in there as a representative of that political party and say, vote for me for my district assembly. That seems to be the bane for which people are not so much interested in when it comes to the elections of district assembly. Now, the question I want to ask is this. Between the national elections and then the district assembly elections, the participating, which from English, I don't think the English is correct, the participation drive in terms of percentage between the national and the district, how is it like?
You made mention that you don't have to be a member of a political party. You see, you can be a member of a political party, but when it comes to district level elections, you contest as an individual. So that's why I want to clarify that. Yeah. You can be a member of any party. You have women organizers or political parties who are contesting, but when they get there, they go in as an individual. Now the issue is about the participation. You see, the partisanship is also another issue, and then there are several factors. You see, at the national level, for me personally, these are some of the reasons that I can give. People think that when we go for presidential and parliamentary, they tend to get certain things from the top. They think that assembly members are not being paid. Assemblies, what are we really going to get from them? So when in this era, people start thinking, oh, the assemblies themselves, these assembly members, when I go and vote, what can they do for me? And because the person is not even paid, the person depends on an allowance. So people look at what they are going to get for people. That is the fact. We can't run away from it. That is the fact. And voter education too is low. How many times, if we are going for elections next year, but look at people.
You mean the national elections?
National elections.
Okay.
But when do you meet people? Well, the next year we are going for elections. We shall see. People are talking about next year elections. They are not talking about district level elections. Why is this so? The education is already there. Parties are going for primary.
Who is supposed to do the education?
It's the NCC.
National Commission
yes,
for
National
Civic
Commission
Education.
for Civic Education. Yes.
And I hear they are not well resourced.
That's also another issue. But they are supposed to do the education. So a lot of people do not even know assembly election is coming on. So the education too aspect is also a challenge.
I was going to speak to you. So we are trying at least.
Yes.
United Church.
Yes.
We are educating.
It's part of the education.
The
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, it's good. You are trying.
National Commission for Civic Education will have to come and reimburse.
Yes, yes. And I think EC2 has to come in. Yes, EC2 has to come in with
it. Yes, they should come and do some, some things to encourage us here.
Exactly. EC2 has to do some education. So it's a education bit which is also.
But until now, in terms of the way people get so much involved in the elections of national elections and district elections, what are the figures like? For instance, how do you compare? Is it like 30%, 10% against 39%?
Okay, so in 2019, that is when we had the last district assembly election. That was around 33.6%.
For the national?
No,
for the
district.
Yes.
National, we always sit about 70 plus.
Wow.
As compared to the national, which was in 2020, which was 76.8%.
Yeah, national is always about 70.
So you could see the gap between the district assembly election and then the national election.
What do you think can be done to bridge the gap?
Like for what can be done? Let's go partisan. Let's bring political parties on board.
So
let's go partisan, and then let's get people interested in local level elections.
Exactly. Because we tend to love things that are very partisan in this country, And even on the presidential, you see, you could see on the presidential, people would want to just vote on party lines. More often than not, the members of parliament who were voted for, you will find out that these same people voted for a particular kind of a presidential candidate from a certain party. So what you're saying is very important.
But why is the top partisan? And you think that the bottom should not be partisan? What kind of system is this?
The reason why you are a non-governmental organization that is doing some advocacy work into this whole thing?
For us, that was our stand in 2019 on the referendum. We said we should go partisan. So we were supporting the process of the referendum.
What made it difficult that we haven't gone?
2019, you need consensus in parliament.
Okay.
And the consensus was not forthcoming.
Okay.
That's how come the referendum was dropped.
So there was going to be a referendum?
There was going to be a referendum.
What else?
There was supposed to be the referendum first to enable us, amend the entrenched provision in the constitution.
Okay.
Because it was an entrenched provision which you need a referendum.
Okay.
And then you need consensus, because if you don't get all the political parties together, you can't get that percentage after in the referendum.
test.
So test, it was going to be difficult.
Who are the people who are standing against these things? The referendum, for instance.
No,
I mean,
it's
Isaac.
It's the political parties.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the political parties.
Yes, because they don't like it at all. Why? Why don't they want a change?
I don't think.
But because if their
like
people
it.
are standing for on political party basis, it goes to their credit, isn't it?
They like it, but
So why are they standing against the referendum that will pave the way for this thing to happen? Why? I don't get it. Someone get it wrong.
we get it. We get it, but
It's difficult.
there are a lot of.
Or they think that the parliamentarians think
and,
that it's going to be, too much funds provided into this kind of referendum, because referendums are not cheap, It costs a lot of money.
You see, the referendum was supposed to introduce partisanship into the system.
Okay.
So then, ultimately, I think ultimately was to introduce the partisanship. Then chief executives will be elected.
Elected from the assembly.
No,
No,
the
from-
citizens will elect.
Citizens
the
will
chief
elect.
executives.
Elect, but not
Yes. No.
the head of state
No,
or
no,
president
no, no, no.
appointing.
Appointing, yes.
Oh, okay.
And the president was also willing to relinquish that power of appointing and give it to the citizens. But unfortunately, it
Is it
couldn't
ever
go
going to be
through.
possible? So we'll have this kind of scenario. Is it possible? Because that's what we're going to bring the participation level up.
Maybe in about 20 years to come.
Really? Oh, by in 20 years' time, I will be somewhere. Okay, Auntie Nadu, the other questions that I have that I want to understand with the district assembly elections, sometimes we only would see the leaflets posted on electricity poles, ECG poles. We don't see the people. They don't show up in our homes like they will do with the national elections and try to convince us as to why we should vote for them. Is it that the mandate is for them only to show their pictures on the electricity poles, people's walls, people's gates, and go and sleep?
They show up in homes. I have contested election.
Nobody came to our
I've gone
house.
8 years, yes. They go
campaign.
into homes, and sometimes they come to your house and you're not around. The electoral area is quite big, so you might not be able to cover all the areas. But they go into homes and then they sell their manifesto to
Oh, they have a
citizens.
manifesto?
Yes, they do. And that is why, as a citizen, you should show interest in district level elections. Because before the elections, the Electoral Commission will mount a platform for all the aspirants to come and tell us what they want to do for you. And you are supposed to be there to ask them questions. And then hold them accountable after they've been elected.
Where do they have this?
Oh, a day before elections.
And usually, where do they have it in the community?
They'll let you know. Usually the EC will give information to the aspirants, and then they will tell. So usually, but they go to the public places like public park, public school.
But not so many people attend. I
No,
do
no.
believe.
Because the
Not so
interest
many
is not there.
It's not
so-
there.
There, yeah, not
It's
so
not
many
there.
people.
So what do I gain from this?
But you should show interest in it.
I
Because
have
that is
been
why
wanting to show interest.
the road, you see, assembly members do not have the resources to construct road. When they go to the assembly, they have to, gather all your views, your challenges, everything to the assembly. And then based on that, the assembly prepares a budget and then implement all the what they have budgeted for. Now, assemblies construct road through the urban roads if you are in a municipal area. If you show interest in it, your assembly member could select your area, because in the selection of the roads, when I was an assembly member, I was selecting roads in my electoral area. I was going around and saying, wait, then I'll give it to the urban roads engineer. And so the roads they come to fix, I selected them. So you should show interest in district level elections, because assembly members are given that leverage to, or sometimes because of the resources, they could select 2 roads. And then they will take the roads. And then that's what they go to fix.
What kind of roads? This is the main roads or the inner roads?
Inner roads.
Because you see, I have a case in point where I live in Abokobi right now. There is this person who says he's a project manager who is he's supplying sand to a project just nearby our house, and he's really destroyed the road on our frontage. And you know what he did? When we told him, he says he's going to supply us with the sand. And now the following story is that I've supplied you with the sand. Get somebody to spread it. Is it correct?
Well, if you are spotting the thing, you should get a
Yes,
grader
yes.
to fix it.
I wanted
That
to
is
mention his name here, but
no, but that is why you
it's
should.
not correct.
You see, that is why you should show interest in district level elections. You should get closer to your assembly members. Assembly members might not have the resources for you to know that they have resources, but I can tell you that they are very powerful. In terms of street light, I was selecting areas that we should fix street light. Oh yes. I was selecting. I was going around saying we need 1, 2, 3. So sometimes they give you a location of 60 street lights, and I will do the selection. So you should get interest in district level elections because the assembly members are the ones that will select the
So,
things.
Auntie, sorry
want
for
to
the interruption,
assemblies.
but I should see the presiding member, or I should go to any of the members.
No, see your assembly member.
My assembly.
Yeah,
member,
you should
okay.
be interested. You should so get involved in the elections. Go and vote, and then get closer to your assembly member. And the assembly member, when the assembly is distributing resources or sharing resources, the assembly will choose your area, and then you benefit. But if you don't go and vote, how do you expect the assembly member to come and give you the road when others have voted?
Isaac, which is your area?
I live at Teman, so I think it's under.
Oh, you are very much near
Lakwantana
Amogobi.
Medina. Yeah,
Okay.
Lakwantana Medina. I think so.
But at Teman, your roads are bad.
Very.
In fact, your road, there's one
Very,
main road
very.
there. And what are you doing
Very
about it?
bad, very bad.
I think we had complained, and then I think some people wanted to put resources together to do something about the road. But like in Ghana, you can't wake up, pay the law. You can't just wake up and do anything that you want to do. It still has to be channeled through the assembly because if you read the Chapter 20 of the Constitution, 240, it says that the assembly has the power for the development of the all jurisdiction of your area. So you can't stand up and say you want to do a road. It still has to pass through the assembly anyway. So I think there was some miscommunication, so they couldn't do so. What they have done is that they have come to grade the road from the Yarifa curve now through to almost to through the Abokubi Road. It's kind of motorable now, but it's still dusty.
But it's still not
anyway.
tarred.
It's not tarred, yes.
I see. This is why it's very important that we get involved in the district assembly, get to know your member who is in the assembly. You discuss your issues with them. Because if you just leave it bare, you know, Auntie Nadu has been an assembly member before.
Also a presiding member.
Presiding member. And she says she selects. She
Yes,
goes
those
around
days, yes,
and
I
tells,
was-
look, this place, we need a street lights.
Yes.
Here, we need this road fixed. You know, if I were in that position where I knew my assembly member and talked about this issue with him, I think we'll go far enough for them to even correct what this so-called project manager has come to do.
The assembly member could even take you to the works engineer for them to come and, work on the road. So it's always good to get closer to assembly members. I always tell people that don't underrate the powers of assembly members.
We have one here.
Yeah.
Fortunately enough, we have one assembly member in our
Oh,
church,
oh, really?
Trinity United Church.
I think he's a PM too.
What's PM?
Which
PM is presiding member. I think.
Oh, he's not just an assembly member, he's the presiding
guys.
member.
Guys,
Yes. So the PM is like the president of the assembly
That's
members.
is the speaker. The speaker.
Oh,
The PM is the speaker.
Yes.
The speaker of the
So
assembly.
he chairs the general assembly meetings.
And the DCE is just like the president.
I don't even know my assembly member. I don't even know the PM, the presiding member.
Go and look for
What a
don't-
shame.
go and look for him.
I will look for him.
So we should
Yes.
get interested in local level elections,
I'm going
local
to do
local
that.
governance, so
At
that
least
we
for
get
my
to
road
know
that has been destroyed to be
some
fixed.
of these.
It's very, very important, you know,
People.
because we can't drive our car into the house any longer through the normal route. We have to go right behind the house. So many inconveniences, you know. But if I were up and doing, I would have
Get
known my
closer to your
assembly
assembly
member
members, yes.
and then the presiding member, the
Exactly.
PM, and
Get
something would
closer
have
to
been
them,
done.
yes.
Yes. Okay. So what else can you supply us with the elections that's going to take place on December 18?
19.
19. Yes. What
Yes.
else can you tell us about?
Okay, so as citizens, we should show, just like I said, before, during, and after the elections. Please, with the limited registration ongoing, if you are above 18 and you've not registered, go and register.
And of sound mind.
Yes, go and register. You have to register to vote, right? So go and register. And then when the exhibition, the voter register is also exhibited, go and check if your name is in. It's very important. But if you don't do these things, then it becomes a challenge for you to go and vote.
No, I think I do. The registration is for the what kind of registration? I have my
The voter registration.
national.
Voter registration. No.
I have
it's
my
different.
voters national
Yes,
voter
you have,
registration card.
you have it, so you don't need to go there.
Okay.
But this is for those who just
10,
attain
18 and above.
yeah.
Okay, and of sound mind.
Yes,
You
those
need to
who
go
attain.
for it.
And also, I want to chip this in. If your voter card is misplaced, you don't have to go and register again. There will be another window from the 3rd to the 9th
Of
October
October.
for you to go and replace your misplaced ID cards.
And you pay 10
10
Ghana
Ghana
cedis.
cedis. I think the AC says you pay 10 Ghana cedis for the replacement.
Where do we go for the registration?
Go to the district offices.
District
so look
office.
for your district offices.
There's one at Pantam Village.
Is
for
that,
my area.
is that where you have your district? Then that is where you have to go.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, you
so,
have to go to the district
good.
office.
So we're going for a short break. We'll be back in a moment.
All right.
The voters registration exercise 2023 is here with us now.
The Electoral Commission is making preparations for voters registration exercise from 12th September to 2nd October 2023 to enable citizens who have turned 18 years or persons who have not previously registered to visit the EC office in their district and register as a voter ahead of the upcoming district level elections 2023. The registration exercise is in line with the Commission's mandate to compile the register of voters and revise it at such periods as may be determined by law. Every eligible Ghanaian should visit the EC office in their district and present their Ghana card or passport for inclusion in the voters register. Applicants who do not have a Ghana card or passport are required to bring 2 persons who are already registered voters to guarantee their registration. Do not register again if you have lost your voter ID card. Replacement of voter ID cards will start from 3rd October 2023 after the registration exercise. Transfer of votes will also be done from 3rd October to 9th October 2023. It is a criminal offense for a guarantor to guarantee for more than 10 people, non-Ghanaians and persons who are not 18 years of age. Guarantors who violate this provision will be prosecuted. The voters registration exercise is part of efforts to ensure credible, transparent and peaceful elections in Ghana. Register to vote. Your vote is your power.
The voters registration exercise 2023 is here with us now.
This is GKB,
The voters
based there
registration
with
exercise.
company focused on the coconut value chain. It came about as a result of the health condition of the owner. So I was diagnosed with diabetes, and a friend introduced me to coconut oil as a food supplement to help stabilize my sugars. So after a couple of months taking the oil, I realized that yes, there was a significant change in my sugars, which caused me to look more into the coconut oil as a food supplement. Our product is basically the coconut oil and then coconut powder, coconut shell charcoal. We are looking into other new products, including coconut snacks. Basically, we use the cold press methodology. So at no point do we add heat or any additive for that matter. So it's just pure coconut oil squeezed out of the coconut meat. We currently can do about 25,000 nuts a day. So 30,000 liters of coconut oil in a month. This is GKV Foods.
numerous tertiary schools. And one thing remains true and sure, and is the fact that everyone in pursuit for tertiary education is looking for thunders and maximum output. We have a serene atmosphere and qualified lecturers, modern state-of-the-art facilities to enhance learning. NASFA University is located at East Legon, behind Mainswick Hotel. We are affiliated to the University of Ghana and the University for Developers Studies. We offer BSc Business Administration with specialization in accounting, finance, human resource management, and marketing. BSc Nursing, BSc Media and Communication, BSc Economics, BSc Computer Science, and BSc Information Technology. Our MBA programs are MBA Accounting, MBA Finance, MBA Human Resource Management, and MBA Marketing. NASFA University, the Royal University of Africa.
You're welcome back. This is Let's Talk About. We did say that Let's Talk About is an online chat show that is coming to you from Trinity United Church, Legon, via Facebook and YouTube. Now, this is the time you can send in your questions and comments. You can also send your comments or questions on our WhatsApp line, 0501 57 9996. I believe it's on your screen, 0501 579996. Isaac, we seem not to have been engaging you a lot. But you are a man. When I say you are a man here, you belong to the Trinity United Church, Legon.
Sure.
Yes. And when you speak to us or with us on an issue, it tends to go down very well with us. So, Isaac, tell us, this coming elections and the registration, how important is it to you? You as a person.
Okay, to me, I think the registration is important because first, if you don't register, it means you cannot vote. And then if you don't vote, it means you make other people decide for you who should be your leader. So I think it's very important that we all take part in this exercise, register and vote.
And it's called limited voter registration because it's not a general registration. It's for those who have turned 18 and above and are of sound mind.
Exactly.
Who are supposed to do so. So if you haven't heard that you are supposed to register, you happen to be 18 years and above, you're of sound mind. Now, can somebody challenge somebody who is registering? That no, you haven't attained the age of 18 and above. You are not of sound mind. Can somebody come and challenge you over there? Maybe until now you can.
Yeah, maybe I will start and then maybe
Yes,
she will
okay.
continue. So over the years, what we do is that I think when somebody challenges the age of the person who is about to register, I think what EC does is that the registration will still go on, but the person's registration will be flat, pending investigation. So if it is concluded that the person is not up to that age, I think the person's name will be expunged from the register. But if it is also concluded that the person is of that age, I think, and then the registration stays. So that is what EC has been doing over the time. And I don't think it's going to be different from now. I think probably they will still use the same method, and then either or the person is being registered or not, it will be contested. So whatever results that come out, either the person's name will be expunged or it will be maintained. But I think maybe the EC probably would throw more light or give a better answer to what I know.
And until I do, can somebody come and say, I know you. Just recently, you admitted at the Pantan psychiatric hospital. You seem not to be correct upstairs. So please check on this person. Is it possible?
There's somebody, you have people who come up and say that, but you should prove it. You don't say anything without an evidence. So before you come up with that, then you should have an evidence to prove your point. If you have the evidence, that's fine. But if you don't have an evidence, then it becomes another issue. If you're not careful, you'll be heading to the law court because somebody can take you to court for a defamation. So yes, somebody can do that, but you should have your evidence before you do that. You can't just come up and say, I don't have sound mind, I was at Pantine. Where's the proof? If you're able to provide evidence, yes, I was at Pantine, you have record from Pantine showing I was admitted and that, then that's fine. then I think the EC will also do investigation and then pick it up from there.
So the best practice then for us as individuals who want to challenge somebody's who wants to be voted for and as a result going for the registration is to have your evidence.
Exactly.
Maybe you have it from the medical officer.
Yeah.
Maybe you have it from somebody's parents who says,
yes,
"No, this guy is not
somebody
18,
can.
blah,
You might have a friend who might have your birth set. Maybe your childhood friend. Who might have your birth set. The person can use that to challenge that you're not 18 years because I have your birth set. You are 16 years. So that one is an evidence. So you should have the evidence because you can't just come up and say things without proof. You should always have proof when you are challenging somebody. That's what I believe in. If you don't do that, you will end up in a law court by somebody.
Okay, somebody told me the story that a girl who was not up to 18 years had managed for the parents to get her registered, and the person was arguing so, strongly. And I said, but what do you have to show? He said, no, I was here when this guy was born. He's not 18. But of course, she has a birth certificate that showed that she was 18. And once you have the birth certificate, that's the thing. You can't challenge that.
If the person has a birth certificate.
Whether the person went through to getting that fake birth certificate or not, that's not a question at all.
No, if they are able to prove that the birth cert is fake, then that's another issue. But if the birth cert the person has is genuine, that the person is 18, so be it. But that's what we use to prove our age. As Ghanaians, we use our birth cert. So if the birth cert was acquired genuinely and it says you are 18, so be it.
How about baptismal certificate?
I know they are using the birth cert.
So you can't use your baptismal certificate?
I think with this issue, maybe we can get the EC person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's get somebody from the Electoral Commission to clarify some of these issues for us.
All right. So when all is said and done, when is the limited voter registration supposed to end? Start and end?
It has started, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
and
it started yesterday, the 12th, and I think it's 3 weeks. So I think on the 2nd of October, it will come to a close.
Okay.
And then those who have to replace their misplaced ID cards will start from the 3rd to the 9th of October.
Okay. And so finally the list will come out. The limited voter registration list will come out.
Yes.
So you can go and inspect it
The
somewhere.
exhibition, yeah.
Where would the exhibition be?
The exhibit, the voter register.
The AC will bring the timetable for the exhibition.
Okay.
Before the voting day, definitely.
Okay. Well, when usually does the exhibition take place?
I think where we registered.
Where you registered?
Yes. This time, I don't know, but this time I'm told they'll bring it to the police stations.
Yes.
Oh, they'll bring the exhibition to the police stations?
They'll bring the register to the police stations.
Oh, okay.
For you to go and check. If your name is
So what EC does is that even if you register at the district office, they'll ask you where you live. So they'll find a polling station that is closer to where you live and then assign you to that polling station. So when the exhibition comes, you go to that polling station and then you go and then verify that your details are correct. The spelling of your names, maybe maybe your maiden name didn't appear. You have all those opportunities to clarify or correct all those mistakes before the final album is displayed.
Oh, okay. So where I read...
Even the EC will ask you where you want to vote.
Yes.
Yes, they'll ask you where you want, so they'll check the police station and then put it there for you.
So I live in Abokobi. I can tell them I don't want to, vote in Abokobi.
Where do you want to vote?
Just a superficial.
You need to transfer your vote.
I need to do a transfer.
Where do you want? If it's not,
I want to come and vote at Legon, where I've lived most part
then
of
you
my
better
life.
go and register at Legon, or you transfer your vote to Legon.
Okay. How do you do the transfer?
Dates will come. I think around the same time for
For
October, right?
Yes, in the same October, I think they will also
Give an
allow for
opportunity to
transfer of
transfer.
votes.
Is it so cumbersome?
No.
It's not cumbersome.
How simple is it?
Okay, so for example, when I registered in 2020, that is when we were doing the new registration, I did that one in Adentan municipality. I was living as a Laboratory. But right now I'm living at Teman, which is living in a different municipality. So if I want to vote or if I want to contest in Medina, I have to transfer my vote from Adenta to Medina. And I think EC will give that time frame for you to go and transfer your vote to where you want to vote.
Okay. So I was just trying to find out how cumbersome or simple it is so that somebody might say, well, it's going to take too long a time. It's going to be so difficult. I might end up not Already the district assembly elections are not that popular as compared with the national elections. So if you are putting too many impediments like that way, it's rather going to make it not.
But
look more.
with this exercise, you
Yeah.
are not going to use it for only district level elections. You are going to use it for the national
National
one.
elections as
So
well.
people will definitely.
People will
Yes.
definitely show interest in it.
Yes, yes. So it's limited voter registration, not only for district assembly, but for national
Yes, you are going to use that
election.
one for your national
Okay.
elections.
And it's an opportunity for those who are 18 years
Exactly.
and above and are of sound mind
Exactly.
to take the opportunity and do the registration. Then you can be given your card at the right time. You can use it at the appropriate times for both national elections, which is coming on next year.
Yes, but
Yes.
we are talking about district level elections
Yes,
now.
yes.
So for
yes.
your district level elections,
Anthony, I want you to maybe say, sorry, gradually the tree, I want you to, ginger us to be very much alert to our responsibility as citizens of this nation, to see how important it is to have this registration done, which will only not help you in the upcoming district elections, also for the national elections.
just like I mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
and Isaac has also mentioned, why would you allow a few people to decide for you? For you to decide on your leaders, you need to go and register. So take this registration exercise seriously. If you are above 18 or you are 18 and above, please take this exercise seriously. District level elections will be held on the 19th of December. And just like I've mentioned earlier, assembly members and unit committees play a critical role in the development of this country. I gave you an example of an assembly member when I was an assembly member and what I was able to do for my community in the selection of street lights, selection of roads, and a few others. Don't underrate the power of an assembly member. Don't underrate it at all. An assembly member is able to confirm DC, so they are able to give DC's job to do. If an assembly member votes against you, you cannot be a DC. So that should tell you that as assembly members are very powerful. And so when it comes to electing them, show interest in those things. Because sometimes they go to the assembly and take decisions without even consulting you. They take certain decisions that you were not involved in. And that is why you have to show interest. If you sit at home and say, no, I'm not going to vote, I don't think you are doing any service to yourself. Because you get a few people who go and take a decision for you.
And then you come back and complain.
You can't complain because you decided not to go and take part in the exercise.
Wonderful. There's a question coming up, Auntie Nadu. Is the assemblyman or woman the one responsible for fixing our roads? If yes, does it mean for the poorly developed areas there are no assemblymen or women?
Yes, just like I mentioned earlier, assembly member will not, you don't have the resources to use it, just like the MPs. The MPs don't use their own money. For them, they even get common fund. So they have even resources from the central government, and sometimes they use their resources from there. But with the assembly member, everything you do is channeled through the assembly. So assembly wants to fix roads. Assembly is not within my electoral area. Assembly does not live within United Church area. So you live within the United Church area. Now we want to fix roads. Select 3 roads from your area here so we can fix. You live here, you know the bad roads here. So I do the selection. So the assembly member facilitates the process. Though they don't use their own money to do it, they facilitate the process. And so they can facilitate the process by selecting your roads for the roads to be fixed. They can also facilitate the process for you to get your street lights and a few other things. When you go to the assembly, you need to go and lobby and get projects to your area. Yes. You can have an assembly member who go and push things. When I was presiding member, I made sure as a presiding member, we started rotating 6 March. Yes, so 6 March was rotated.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you should take interest in who you elect as an assembly member. So if you sit back and say, well, these people, what are they doing? You are doing a disservice to yourself. Take interest in who becomes your electoral, your unit committee member as well. Because you have to work hand in hand with them. If there's an immediate challenge, you call the unit committee member.
So who is the first point of call? The unit.
Yes, your unit committee member.
And then he will report to
the
your assembly member.
Yes, because they are closer to you.
I do not know even my unit committee member.
You go and look for them.
I will.
They should take interest.
I will take interest.
So everybody, Ghanaians should show interest in district level elections. Assembly elections assemblies are closer to us. Now you are talking about your
Auntie,
rules.
sorry for the interruption, but Daniel is asking what kind of work supports assembly members give to the district chief executive in the assembly?
What kind of work?
Work support.
As an assembly member, the assembly member is just like the member of parliament. You see, we have a replica at the local level. So it's a miniature parliament. That's what we are operating at. So just like the MPs go to parliament to pass laws, we have the miniature one at the local level. So assembly members are the local legislators. We go to pass bylaws. So assemblies pass bylaws. They ensure that we develop the whole district. And so the DC is the head, but they work together with the assembly members because assemblies work through committees. And the assembly members are the members of the committees. Staff are not members of any committee of the assembly per law. They only provide technical support to committees. So just like parliament. So all the work we do, all the things that are done at the assembly, which the chief executive is the head, are being supported by assembly members. So that's the work.
But you try as much as possible to go through the unit committee member.
The assembly, in the unit committees work through the assembly members.
Okay.
And then the assembly members go to the assembly.
No, we forgot to talk about the zonal whatever.
The zonal councils, they are, just like I said, each district or for the zonal councils, they are in the municipalities. So Adenta has a zonal council. And under each zonal council, you have several electoral areas. And the assembly members are part of the zonal councils.
Okay.
And then they also meet to discuss issues that affect the zone. So, for instance, where I live, we have Suchuna zonal councils, and we have about three electoral areas constituting the zone. The zones are bigger. And then they come together so for zonal councils, they are able to support the assembly by collecting property rates on behalf of the assembly. And then the assembly gives them 50% of the amount they have collected. And then the money is used to do implement activities or projects within the zonal councils.
Some people say they pay their property rates, they fulfill all their tax obligations, yet when it comes to sharing the national cake in terms of developmental projects, they are lost out in the picture.
The national cake or the district cake?
The district cake.
And what about the national cake? Are we not paying taxes at the national level? Are we getting everything that we want from the national level? No. That's also another issue. You can't get everything from the national level. The same applies to the district level. You pay. If those who are complaining, ask them, how much property rates do they pay? If you go and check, some of them are paying 100 Ghana, 200 Ghana.
If that's the specified amount and I pay, that's okay.
No, some are not paying. And even the building permits, they are not paying. If you go and check, some assemblies are not paying, some residents are not paying building permits. So you see, it depends on how much you are paying. If you don't pay your taxes to the assemblies, where are they going to get the money to do certain things for?
But don't they receive district assembly common fund?
That's also another topic we can discuss at appropriate time. But the assemblies are challenged now. The funds are not flowing as expected. But we can look at all those issues.
If the people are not paying the taxes,
look.
Who should enforce it?
The people should pay their taxes so that their money should be used for their own development. That's what I believe.
Who should enforce it?
Pay taxes.
There should be some body that should be.
GRA, at the national level, GRA collects our taxes. But we still have people who still don't pay taxes. They pay taxes. And GRA continues to chase people from the national level.
Yeah, from the television.
Yes, and at the assembly level too. The same applies. They still continue to chase people to
Auntie,
pay
let me chip in this one. Now, if the unit area committee members were even resourced, at least giving some salary, it would engender them to make sure that the taxes are collected and all that. But there's a question by Abner. Could a guest, you mean Auntie Nadu and Isaac, demystify the misconception of Christian engaging their lives in public life? I don't know. Maybe you understand it.
Christian doing what?
Engaging life in politics or?
You could, I guess, demystify the misconception of Christian engaging their lives in public life. Or
Oh, if you're a Christian, you shouldn't go into politics. I'm a Christian, I'm a Presbyterian.
But even in the
I
church,
went
we
to
practice
a
some
little
kind
bit.
of church politics.
Even
Even in homes,
Yes,
domestic
even homes.
politics. Politics is
Is
the
she talking about party politics or what?
maybe she's
Maybe the public life is not welcoming. Maybe
Public
if she
life is
can
public
throw
life.
more lights
Elections.
on that one.
The public life is the elections
even
we are
in
talking
schools
about.
we have
yeah.
kind of politics going
Exactly.
on. Yes.
Oh, as I think that, you see, Christians should not lay back. We should rather take the front stage of public life. If public life could be anything, you could be in public offices, you could be in this election thing, you can be at the forefront of. And as a Christian, I think if we lay back, you allow non-Christians to take over.
Exactly.
And if you are not careful, they will come and come up with certain policies that will not go well for you and I. Let me give you an example. If you're a Christian and you don't go in there, and you allow non-Christians alone to go and take a decision that, from now, all schools should now be doing ABCD, which will be against your Christian principles.
Okay, let's put it this way.
Let me use-
All schools shouldn't pray. They shouldn't
Yes.
have a prayer time.
A time, no, they
that
should-
kind of worship
the
time
worship
that they
time
have on
should stop.
Wednesday, we should
Exactly,
stop.
stop.
And then you sit there, you say,
And then you see that you are a Christian. What are you going to do? If you are part of it, you will not allow that to go on. So, as a Christian, you should never take interest. And in this era, as a Presbyterian, I will say this, in this era of LGBT all over, which is quite controversial. Someone will say, as a Presbyterian, for the Presbyterian church, it's clear. Our stand is very clear. And so, when you stay back and you don't take center stage, you if you're not careful, you get what you don't want. If you're the same applies, for instance, if you're a Muslim and you decide that I will not take interest in these things, you'll be there one day, they'll serve you. What are you going to do? So take interest in public life before you are served with pork.
That's very, very important. Yes, so Abner, I think your question has been favorably answered. And it's for us all to get ourselves engaged in politics of this nation, whether it's a national, dimensions or in other dimensions. Because of course, we in our homes we practice some kind of politics. In schools we do. That's why you have senior prefects, and all that. That's some kind of politics in our homes, as I have said. In every facet of life, there's some politics going on. So if you say, well, I don't care. I belong to a certain society, and I see something going on wrong there. So, and I speak, and people say, hey, when you speak about this, they say, you do this. I said, no, it depends on the way you speak about it. You speak it and don't get flagged down. Next time you don't understand, you go on to explain, and gradually this is going on, you see, and life will be much more easier than we have. There are no more questions, but I think I'll take the opportunity for Auntie Nadu and Isaac to once again get us to be so much involved in the limited voter registration that is coming up to the elections for district assembly members in December. To raise their voices for us to take it much more seriously.
Get involved in the upcoming district level elections. The limited voter registration is ongoing. It will end on the 2nd of October. Please go to the district offices of the Electoral Commission and register. If you don't register, that's the first step. If you don't register, you can't vote. And as a Ghanaian, you have that right to vote. So please get there and go and register. And the upcoming district level elections too, we want to appeal to you to support women. A lot of women don't get in there because of all the, we all know what goes on there. Sometimes the stress level is too much for women. So women don't want to get into it. We want to appeal to you to vote for women. Any woman you get in your area, please try and vote for the woman as well as our persons with disabilities. We have persons with disabilities who are very good, who can serve as a voice for you at your assemblies and the unit committee levels. Let's try and support them when they show up to contest district level elections. If you don't get involved, just like I said, you get somebody going to take a decision, a few people going to take the decision for you, And if you are not careful, if you are Muslim and you don't take pork, you'll be served with pork because you didn't take part in the decision making.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're very much welcome. Isaac?
Okay, so what I want to say is that come December 19th, we are going to vote for our assembly members and also our unit committee members. So I will urge and encourage everybody to take part in the exercise. Register, get your ID cards. If your ID cards, if you've already registered, look for them and clean them and put them down. And be ready, lace your boots, and then ready and go and vote on the 19th of December, 2023.
On that note, I say a very big thank you to you, Isaac Owusu, and Auntie Nadu, your surname?
Tete.
Tete, yes, for coming to help us understand what is going on now regarding the registration exercise. If you haven't registered at all for any elections in this country, you need to do so because the opportunity now is granted us. Now, once you get registered, you can even use your registration for next year's national elections. Auntie Nadu, thanks very much for coming and helping us. And for those who passed on their comments and questions, we thank you so much. That's all in this edition of Let's Talk About. Next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m., God willing, we'll be here. Have a great night. Bye.